Hello and welcome back to the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot podcast. This is your host, James Ford, and this is the 8th episode. And today I have with me Sam. And Sam, I came across through social media when I was reaching out to people, like for people that were inspiring, who other people thought. And that's how I came across you, is a lot of people reached out to me and said, hey, you should interview this guy. He's a great guy. He does a lot of stuff for the community. He has a couple stuff that he runs. There's one that's called St. Kicks of Southern Illinois. There's another one called the Hairless Ape Inc. And then you were 11 Bravo. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Sam? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you serve?
I am a Southern Illinois boy, born and bred. So I joined the Army at 17. My mom had to sign for me. I had an 11 X-ray contract. Got through basic AIT airborne school, RIP, and then when I was at regiment, I also stayed at regiment because I was a dumbass and told them I knew how to type when they asked. Like an idiot, I told the truth. And that's a theme that's through my life, but we'll get to that later. And had some poor supervision, I guess, in my off time when I was barely 18, and got busted on a health and welfare inspection with a whole bunch of stuff you're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
And shortly thereafter, I was in the 82nd, 3504, Bravo Company. Did a deployment to Saudi, Garden Patriot missiles.
Oh wow!
Was there for about it was horrible. It was actually really easy. It was super cool. We had good chow halls and stuff like that. That was my first exposure to females in brown t-shirts, though, because I had been, 11 Bravo and airborne units and stuff like that. So I never been around any females that were in the military. It was a rude awakening, to say the least. But we were guards for an air defense artillery unit over there, and at Kobar and Daharan both, and then came back, did a deployment to Sinai, and then shortly thereafter I re-enlisted and went to Italy, and I was in Italy for a year, and then I got out and came back home to Southern Illinois. Did a whole semester of college, whether I needed it or not, and then I went and got myself in law enforcement, and I've been there ever since. And I've got been doing that for 22 years now, I guess. 23, I can't remember which.
Yeah.
But that's the long and the short of it. Along the way, I became a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, had some amateur MMA fights, started a school, got married and divorced about 4 times.
Dude, school is...
That's the broad spectrum. That's the carpet bomb.
School is another animal. It's completely different from anything. Like, the military does not prepare you for college.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
And it's like trying to push through that. I could see why the majority of us veterans, some of us we don't even go to regular college. We go to like trade schools, or we become a police officer, or like we start making knives, we start working in gun shops, or start doing this because it's it's a physical work, and it's a quick reward in a short amount of time. You get a lot of personal satisfaction, really fast from doing it.
Right. Yeah, and it's the last thing I wanted to do is wait another 4 years or whatever. In hindsight, I should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a T-shirt I wore to the gym that said I should have followed my heart and just been a hairdresser.
That's great.
Yeah, it's kind of funny on me. I mean, I don't know. I've seen some big ass hairdressers though. So, but you know, yeah, it was. Yeah, college was, and since then, you know, I'm 44 now, but I've accumulated. Again, the military didn't prep me for this because I have since accumulated like 110 credit hours. No degree, none. You know why? Because I took what I wanted to take. You know, so I think you should take this. Nah, counselor, I'm going to do this because that's what I want to do. You know, good idea, bad judgment. But yeah, it was when I wasn't ready. I was, you know, 23 and had 5 years in the military under my belt. I'm going to college with a bunch of smoking hot 18-year-old girls that can't buy beer, that think my tattoos are cool.
Yeah. That's always the story. Yeah, that's always the story. Yeah. Half of them, it's like half of the problems just revolve around that right there. You don't got to say no more. It's just beer and women.
Yeah.
But
my buddies and I used to say, you know, if you could swear off women for like a year, think of all the shit you could get done.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Damn.
But I've yet to do it.
There's a few that are far in between that can pull off, you know, that can actually like somehow when you two meet, it's like weird. They somehow know how to manage you. You know, it's like what the heck?
Right.
How did this happen? All of a sudden, we're dating for like 2 years. You know, I don't even remember the first day. But don't tell them that. You don't ever say that. So tell me about.
Yeah, most of the time it just seems like ever.
Yeah. So tell me about the St. Kicks of Southern Illinois. What is that about? What does it do? When did you start it?
Okay, so St. Kicks has been around for about we're going into our fourth season or our fourth year. Mm-hmm. It's a charity that we collect new name brand shoes. And then we give them to, we work with at-risk counselors at local schools, and we get shoes to kids that need them. And I say it's a charity. It's just, it's a word. We're not a 501(c)(3) whatever.
Yeah.
It's really just two people, myself and my business partner, Alex. We run it. We get the shoes where they need to go. We go pick up shoes. We have a bunch of really awesome businesses that are drop-off points for us. We've had a lot of really great luck with, especially this last year, with a couple of news channels, a couple of papers, a radio station or two, mm-hmm. Playing all our stuff. But we collect shoes from right after Veterans Day to like the first week of January. Mm-hmm. And then we, like I said, we divvy them up and we give them out to different schools. The first year we had 3 schools. Mm-hmm. The second year we added 3 more, and this past year we've added 3 more. So we have in 3 years we're at a total of 9 schools.
Yeah.
And we've been super lucky. Been able to get the message out, and it's all really been, you know, the biggest thing we've had some media this last year, but it's all been just word of mouth and just, you know, just people doing the right thing, man, and being able to also get in front of people and talk at like you know, chamber meetings or Rotary Club meetings and stuff like that. And I would my biggest advice to anybody that's want to do this, or even with their small business or whatever, connecting with people like for real, like not in cyberspace, not through email, not through some bullshit app. Connecting with people and letting them see how you really feel about something, letting them see you get fired up, let them see you get emotional about what it is you're doing. That's where you win people over. That's where you get people to understand what you're about and who you are and why they want to support you.
Exactly.
And because it's so rare.
Yeah.
In today's society, standing up for yourself, standing up for what you believe in, being passionate about something, there's not a lot of that. It's a buddy of mine said, common sense is so goddamn rare. It's almost a superpower. And it's this kind of thing is the same, is in the same vein. Being passionate and being compassionate, are things that are not necessarily commonplace anymore. And we started St. Kicks because excuse me, three Halloweens ago, I guess it was. So it would have been Halloween of 2016. 16, 17, no, 18. 16 or 18, or 16 or 17, I can't remember which. I have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school called Arsenal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's located in Benton, Illinois. Yeah. And I had been at that location in that town for about 3 years. Yeah. And I decided, I was like, man, I need to do some stuff in the community. I've got a full-time job. I've got a bunch of other stuff. I'm still training. I'm still doing stuff for myself. But I'm like, man, I got to make some time and get in the community more. Yeah. And so we decided to do the trunk or treat that Halloween up on the square. And basically it was ran through the Chamber of Commerce and or the Rotary Club. I can't remember which, but you basically got a couple of parking spaces around the town square, which is, Benton is our county seat, so it's got the courthouse and all that. Yeah. And we handed out candy, and I think we were the only people handing out candy because I'm pretty sure we saw every single kid there. Yeah. But I think we came with about $600 worth of candy, and I think we ended up $600 or $800 worth of candy, and we went back to Walmart twice and spent another $600 on candy. Yeah. In less than 2 hours. But it was freezing cold. They had a bunch of things lined up for that day, and it all got canceled. Yeah. The only thing that canceled was the trunk or treat, and I think a lot of places maybe didn't even show up. So this is your average small town Illinois city square, and we're in one corner. We've got kids lined up down to the other corner, so 2 city blocks. That's awesome. And over. So, so we got to see a bunch of them, and I have kids that come to my class that I teach, but I don't have kids, so I don't get to see this very much. Yeah. And what I saw was a bunch of kids that didn't have shit. Yeah. It was, and their parents didn't have much, and their parents, they're outside in Walmart plastic costumes with no coat or in flip-flops. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it just got to me, and I talked to my partner, my business partner, Alex. I talked to several other people, but man, I was just like, I felt sick, just like nauseous about it. It's just like, it's just hopeless, kind of feeling. You ever watch the movie Leaving Las Vegas? Oh yeah, Nick Cage? I've seen that. Oh my God, horrible movie. Watch that. Then at the end, that's kind of how I felt after Trunk or Treat. Dude,
yeah. I mean, I know what you mean, because, like, man, whenever I see someone, like, it's not even like that same aspect, but it's like the similar feeling. It's like when I see someone just being a piece of shit with their life, not getting their shit together, I'll just be like, man, this is the kind of shit that I fought for. You know, this is like I fought for this country for shit like this to happen. Like, you know,
Right.
like I'm in shock. I'm in shock that people are living like this, doing this, committing this crime, cheating this person out of something, lying, being a snob, just being a real piece of shit. And it's like, you know, I feel bad because it's like, man, you got one side, it's like people can't help it, and then you got the other side where it's like just their behavior. If they just changed their behavior, their whole life would change.
And if you look at any place that you were in the course of your service, and any place that you're at, seeing that, those people don't have any fucking problems, really.
Yeah.
They're not wearing water bottle shoes. They're not worried about their mom or their sister getting raped because they're the wrong fucking tribe and they're going out to get firewood or water in the morning. So we don't have problems in America. So we don't. That's not real fucking problems.
I remember reading. Oh man, have you ever heard of Sebastian Junger? I don't even know.
Yeah.
So I remember listening to something. I don't remember if it was on YouTube. I don't remember where I heard it, but everything sticks with me that I hear that really touches me. I'll carry it for the rest of my life, just because I use it. I use it to like push myself. I use it to drive other people. But the one thing that, you know, you speaking this to me, one thing I remember from him is what he said is in third world countries, you know, the depression in those countries was a lot lower over there than it was in the United States. And it was because of the way our culture we're not a community. No one really works together to live. Whereas like in these third world countries where they don't have much of anything, they all work together to live. They function together. They do things together. They're happy because they're all surviving. Whereas here, it's like everyone just goes to their house and no one works together to live. And it's just like everyone gets abandoned.
They don't. Right. Well, they don't. Those other countries that they don't. Their culture is more based around relationships and
like what you were talking about,
caring for each other than it is about things. We are fucking things obsessed.
Yeah. That and I mean, social media people, and being fake.
There's people, absolutely. Like doing whatever it takes to get the heart punch or get the thumbs up.
Yeah.
You know, there's people in Africa that died today from lion attack. You know, somebody in Africa died today from a lion.
Yeah.
We don't have that shit going on here.
No, we don't.
We have it. We have poor people that are morbidly obese.
Yeah.
You know, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't get it because, you know, they're poor. How are they buying enough food to be obese? It doesn't make any sense.
But I think there's a lot less depression in those countries too because they haven't been made soft by all the luxuries. They haven't been made soft by media telling them. They haven't been made soft by these made-up problems. You know, I would venture to guess, I don't know for a fact, I would venture to guess in most second and third world countries that there's a lot less feeling of I'm oppressed because of this, that, or the other thing like there is here, because if they are oppressed, it's for real.
Yeah.
But probably a warlord or a dictator of some sort. And even when they are, they still have to live. They don't get to wallow in it and feel fucking sorry for themselves like Americans do. It's just sad, man. You know,
they don't have any time to wallow in it. They have to continue living, otherwise they're gonna die.
But yeah, if they sit down, they die. If they stop working for 1 minute towards their goal of eating for that day, or getting stuff done, or gathering the firewood, or drawing the water, you know, they're not going to make it. It's not just them that's not going to make it. It's going to be a good majority of their family because they are so interconnected and entwined in their own communities.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to St. Kitts, you know, it was that's why, that's how that got started. I just saw all this just poverty and for lack of a better word, despair.
Yeah.
And we started, kind of kicking around ideas. The Marines got Toys for Tots covered up. There's already some places that do like coats and stuff like that, and that's when we came up with shoes.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make it to where they were name brand shoes, because kids are dicks sometimes.
They'll make fun of each other.
I had a single mom most of my life as a kid, and I know what it's like to get made fun of because you wear cheap shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I know how mean other kids can be when you don't have like name brand shit. So
yeah, as a kid, we don't really think about like, we all made fun of each other. We all did it. We pretty much just hazed each other as kids, and it's like we really didn't think about how that affected everyone. But at the end of the day, it does. Some of the kids, it really affects them.
Some of it does, and it's like, I got kind of bullied, and I never got my ass beat too bad, but I mean, I'm also 5'10", 225 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt now that dabbles in powerlifting, and there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah.
That early whatever that I got, it spurred me to either, and I could have went, you could go another way with it. You could completely be meek and go back in a shell and hide, but I was like, man, fuck that. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get so goddamn mean and so tough that nobody's gonna be able to do that shit to me again.
Yeah.
Except somebody that's bigger, meaner, and tougher.
Yeah.
And they're always out there, by the way.
Yeah.
Just word to the wise. But it's
Sasquatch.
Yeah, kids. Yeah, exactly. Kids can be so rough on each other. But that's why we decided for shoes, and we decided, we asked people to to make sure that they're new. Like I've been on the news. I'm like, they're like, okay, Sam, well, what do you need? Well, I don't want your mowing shoes. Okay, don't give me your mowing shoes. That's not what I want. I want you to go out. I want you to go out with your family. I want you to buy it. I want your kids to help you pick out a pair of shoes for somebody else, something that they think was cool. And I want you to do it with you. I want you to do it with your kids, or I want you to do it with your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, and know that you're making a difference. That pair of shoes is a kid that you're going to change their shit for, at least 6 months while they're wearing those things. And that's important, and just doing shit for other people makes you feel good, and it just does. And it sounds so stupid, and it sounds so, it sounds so meme, or it sounds so, motivational dodo movie on Facebook, but it's the truth. If you do shit for somebody else, it's going to make you feel good.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't know about you, but dude, daily life sometimes kicks my ass. I like having something that can make me feel good. Daily life sucks sometimes. Whether it's the monotony of it, or bullshit people that you just can't, smoke in the face when they need it, or, you're worried about, your career or your retirement, and you got to behave. It's nice to be able to, to do something good for somebody else, and with nothing more than it making you feel good. Yeah. So we've had people that, like, they'll get the shoes and they'll put, they put little cards in there. My partner's daughter, Jenny,
mm-hmm.
she made out, like, on her own, like, one, I think it was the first year we did it.
Yeah.
Or first or second. She made like 100 little construction paper cards and put them in 100 different pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Just, hey, we're thinking about you. Merry Christmas. You mean something.
Yeah. So you hear that, Adidas and Under Armour? Y'all got to start donating your shoes. I was like, you hear that, Adidas and Under Armour? Y'all got to start donating your shoes. There's kids out there that would like your shoes. You need to step up your game.
Absolutely.
That's amazing, because it's like,
I'm hoping to maybe do the 501 C3, but we're just so small right now that I don't know, and everything, like operating costs comes out of our pockets personally.
Oh yeah,
and the other thing is, is like, and this is important that I tell everybody: we don't take money, we don't take cash, so we don't, because
I imagine
of all
people
the stuff
will
that's happened with, well, if you think about, like, if you hear about the stuff like with whatever the Wounded Warrior Foundation and stuff, they're, maybe misappropriation of stuff and how pennies on the dollar gets to the vet. That makes me sick, man.
Yeah.
I don't ever want anybody to think that anything I'm running is anything but above board. So I can't donate 70% of a pair of shoes. I got to donate the whole pair.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way for it to even come into question, because I don't take cash. I don't take money. I don't take debit. I don't take anything. I want you.
Do you just tell those people? Do you just tell those people?
Because you care enough to do so.
Okay.
And I want you to give them to me and give them to the kid that needs them.
So if you're gonna donate to St. Kicks of Southern Illinois, you need to go out and buy the shoes and then donate the shoes.
Absolutely. And I've had vet buddies of mine. They get on Zappos, and at almost anytime you're ordering anything online, is the shipping address the same as delivery address?
Yeah.
Or same as the billing address? They mark no. They put my address down, and 3 days later, I got 3 new pair of Vans or Converse All Stars ready to go to some kid that needs them.
Yeah.
And that's something that's been really cool. Is like, I've got veteran brothers out there that are in Texas or in California. They don't ever let me down. They're always sending me a couple, 2 or 3 pairs of shoes.
That's awesome.
My Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brothers and sisters across the country, they send me shoes.
What's the most common shoe size that you see that's in need?
There really isn't one.
There really isn't one.
This year we actually specify, hey, we need some bigger sizes, because there's some big ass high school kids.
Yeah, I imagine.
But we cover everything. We work with Head Starts all the way up to seniors in high school. So
that's amazing.
Whatever anybody wants to get, they can take 60, 70, $80. They can get 1 pair of shoes, or they can get 2 or 3 pair of shoes for the littler ones. I promise you, we'll find them a home.
That's awesome.
But we work with, like I said, everything from, Head Starts, which is like basically like pre-K,
yeah.
And those kids have siblings too. So even if sometimes we get baby shoes and stuff like that, but they always go to somebody that needs them, and we're never sitting on shoes like, man, I wish I could find a kid that needs these. We always get them to where they need to go, and there's just such a big need.
Yeah.
Especially in our area, that we can use whatever anybody will get us.
Yeah. So, moving on, you have another company called the Hairless Ape, and I read their website. I got it up. I really like some of the stuff that you have written on the website. So, it says on here, we want to engage and start a conversation and make people uncomfortable. I love that. Make them think and question. Love that too. And then provide a roadmap and some tools for those truly ready to step up and find who they are meant to be. And then I just love everything about that. And then moving on from that, it's like, you also say it's a way of looking. What is the Hairless Ape? It's basically you're telling it what it's about. It's like, it's a way of looking at the world, a way of seeing failure as an opportunity to improve your past, to improve past our one-time best, seeing hardship and tragedy and lessons taught in pain. Anyways, I just loved everything about this. And originally, the podcast was just going to be about you and St. Kicks, but when I found this, I was intrigued, because this sounds amazing to me too. So what else is it? What is this? What do you do here?
The Hairless Ape Conspiracy started in earnest probably right after I got out of the service.
Yeah.
And I just started kind of writing stuff. Actually, I started writing. I got in a parachute accident when I was deployed to Saudi. We were doing a jump exchange with Saudi SF to get Saudi jump wings. Nobody in the world besides Saudi nationals had those jump wings at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like one of the selling points for the mission, because like it was just one company of us, so they basically recruited from other companies because they had a bunch of guys that didn't want to go, or they were getting ready to ETS or whatever. So they pushed this jump back, pushed it back. Finally it went, and we had like the winds were ridiculous. The drop zone was out in the middle of nowhere.
As you, that sounds typical of the military.
yeah. I mean, it was. If it was a hard way to do it, we did it twice.
Yeah.
That at its heart.
And they probably did it on purpose too.
What's that?
They probably did that on purpose too.
Well, no, yeah. The Saudis were being assholes because they agreed to it, early on, and then they're trying to backpedal and just make it so inconvenient that we just be like, throw our hands up and be like, screw it.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We kept going with it. So there were supposed to be 2 different chalks. I was on the first chalk, and I was one of, I think, 6 guys that got medevacs. But I basically got power bombed and then drugged for like 200 or 300 meters. Thank Christ I had the bill of my Kevlar
yeah
was there to stop my face from getting sanded off. But I ended up, I woke up one time, my captain, who looked like David Letterman on steroids, was flinging a crew chief around because they had me in a kid in a half backboard,
Yeah.
He set me up, I guess. Spinal injury maybe. We're just gonna put him on his ass, strap him in like a seatbelt, and he's Captain Reedaboot jumped in, and I woke up as his feet hit the deck of this fucking sea stallion, and I remember him motherfucking this guy and swinging him around by his fucking chin strap. Like, it was awesome. I mean, I don't ever think I've loved a man in that way ever before. And then the next thing I knew, I woke up like 8 days later. They put me in a coma. I had a bunch of really, really jacked up brain swelling and shit like that. And that's why, I always, I joke, I was TBI before TBI was cool. It was that was like
that's a good one.
But I had a lot of memory type shit going on. That was really only I had my hand was under me when I got drugged, so it was skinned like like Freddy Krueger style. So I had to let the skin grow back on that, and then kind of figure out how to use my hand again. But I had a lot of memory issues, and it was just like stuff that made sense before didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And this is not common, at the time. There wasn't a global war on terror where guys are getting their bell rung like every 5 minutes with IEDs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any specialists. I had a couple of cats guys like, whoa, that's rough, man. Your MRI, or you had MRIs done. They're like, all that blood will probably go back to where it needs to go.
Here's some water.
But I had a PA that I was seeing for my hand.
Yeah.
He was a former 18 Delta, super cool guy, big. I mean, he looked like the guy off of Monopoly. But he was like, I was telling him about it. I was like, my hand's all right, doc. I keep fucking shit up. I can't remember anything. And he's like, start writing. I want you to start writing. I want you to start writing about the oldest memory you can remember. And then I want you to write about what you did yesterday.
Yeah.
And I want you to do that. He's like, get a journal, and I want you to start doing that every day. And it can't be the same memory. Write about the oldest memory you had, and then write about what you did yesterday. And I did that. I did that for months. And that's kind of when I kind of started writing also. And, and I was one of those people that, like, you know, I had this happen to me, and, you know, a couple months later, 6 months later, you guys like, damn, Burns, you're different. You're fucking, what the fuck's the matter with you, you know? That's when I started getting called, you know, wild man and, you know, shit like that. And I thought I was always kind of a little out there, but I definitely, I guess, embraced it a little bit more. But yeah, my attitude changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily think for the bad. You know, I think maybe, you know, my therapist might say different, but wait, what does she know?
Yeah.
Bitch. No.
Got that dark humor, the dark humor coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always got to be careful, you know, when mine slips out in public, I'll be like, oops, that wasn't me.
Yeah. My bad, sorry. Get back in there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I think it was like, kind of like, I don't know, a start over for me.
Yeah.
And it felt, and I didn't necessarily mind it. I felt like I benefited, from that. And I've always, you know, since then been pretty balls out as far as pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And to my, and sometimes to my, sometimes to my benefit, sometimes to my detriment. But that's when I kind of started. That's when I started writing. And then when I got out and I got into law enforcement and stuff, I was really, really hoping the camaraderie was going to be there, like I had in the Army, and it was not. And I really felt shitty about it. And then, you know, 9/11 happened, and I was at fucking home.
Yeah.
And married, and I just felt like, you know, what the fuck, you know, I shouldn't fucking be here. I need to be over there doing shit. And,
yeah.
So that's when I started writing. Yeah, I started off with like poetry, and I got a couple of decent ones. I got some really, really bad ones too. But I started kind of just writing about like how I felt and stuff like that. And then I found jiu-jitsu when I was about 28, I guess. And I started doing some MMA, and yeah, I kind of rode with that through many marriages and other relationships. And I kind of came back to the writing about, you know, 2016-ish, I guess, mm-hmm. about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 15, maybe 16.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I started writing about, like, stuff with jiu-jitsu, and then I started kind of broadening the scope about, like, you know, kind of like, you know, manhood, masculinity, standing up for shit, mm-hmm. you know, what it means to care about stuff, and how, you know, I think a big problem with, you know, when we were talking about, you know, what's wrong with kids and stuff, I don't think they understand what being a, you know, especially the boys don't understand what being a man's about. You know, they got a fucked up way of looking at that.
Yeah.
And, you know, being a man doesn't mean you better cry. It doesn't mean, you know, and you know, and I get the whole, you know,
exactly,
you know, zero fucks given, you know, hashtag, and you know, Zulu Foxtrot, you know, I get all that. But in reality, dude, I get thousands of fucks.
Yeah.
You know, I had a, you know, I don't care for a lot of it, but for some of it, I care for a lot. You know.
Yeah. I do that too, man.
And
I get like that's one issue with me. I'd be like, you know, when I'll know if I feel like I've done someone wrong, and like I don't a lot of and that was the issue I was kind of dealing with, over the past couple months. It was just like, because the way I see it, if I know or if I think I might have done something wrong, I immediately like reach out to the person once I realize it, and I'll be like, man, I'm sorry, I gotta own up to this, and apologize. And
right.
yeah, and then this other person wasn't doing it, and I was just like, what the heck? You can't even like be honest with yourself or with the people in your life. And it was just like, yeah, I totally feel you on that.
But yeah, it was, so that's, I mean, I started writing, and my partner, Alex, she came on about kind of the same time and started helping me with my school, like getting my, doing my SEO stuff, and showed me how to, curate a web page and how to use social media to where, it could benefit me and not just used for bitching.
Yeah.
And I let her read some of the stuff I've written. She's like, dude, you gotta get this out there. And I'm like, so I was kind of like, who wants to read this shit and why? And
yeah.
And I've had, when I was in the 82nd, we had platoon comms, and my call sign was Monkey Boy.
Oh, I gotta hear this when you're done.
So, and
mine was Monkey Fucker.
Also, like, what's that?
So I think mine was Monkey Fucker.
Right. But so that was that, because that was kind of, even as a corporal and then on as a sergeant, I got shit done, but I was never, I could make somebody fucking qualify and be telling fucking jokes to somebody else standing right there. It was very on and off with me. So I think I was a good NCO. I think that probably did that better than I've done anything else ever.
Yeah.
I think I was a really good sergeant because I love my guys, and I really embraced the, protecting them over myself and making sure that they were good and just taking care of them. I really, really liked that. And I know that my guys that I have gone on to become, NCOs that are 10 times better than I was.
Yeah.
And I like to think that that's because I gave them a good roadmap.
Are any of them still in, or are they still, or are they mostly out?
I got a couple buddies that are still in. They're getting ready to be out real shortly.
Yeah.
And I think they're being forced out. They're like, dude, you got to go somewhere else, man. You can't stay anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You old motherfuckers, get out.
You can hear the arthritis 2 miles away.
Right. But I have I got a kid that I adopted. He's a son of a buddy of mine that I work with who he passed away right after he retired. Like within a year of his retirement, he passed away.
Oh man.
And his son he had a year and a half left before he was going in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. And his mom his dad wanted him to train with me at my school. Yeah. And she wouldn't let it happen. And then finally, after his dad passed away, she let him come to the school. And I only met him at his father's ceremony. I never met him before because she always kept him from being around, basically. And but I kind of took him under my wing, and he's in the Marine Corps now. He's a MARSOC Marine. He's a Raider. And he just got done, like, this weekend, or this Friday, I guess, was his last jump week of Halo school. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's He's a fucking stud, man.
That's awesome.
He's a good kid, and he's got a fucking head on his shoulders. I mean, he's not like your typical 20-year-old fucking retard. He's really, really bright, and he's got a lot of dad in him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 35. I'm still kind of retarded, but.
Yeah,
I know there's
now and again, like malaria too.
I know there's 30-year-olds that exist out there that are retarded. I'm probably part of that population.
Right. But so it's kind of cool that I get to kind of help. He kind of calls me for advice and keep me posted on what he's doing, and I'm just so proud of him. But yeah, Hairless Ape just kind of came about, and I think it needed to be this long. You know what I'm saying? I think I had to be 40.
Yeah.
For it to work. You know what I mean? For me to get my mind around what I was even thinking about,
there's some people out there that just, man, I've called a couple people out on social media like this all the time because I think it's rude. I think it's immature, and they're like my age. They're adults, and I'm just like, and I know what they're doing. And it's like, whereas like you're doing it, and it's like it's just building up on its own because you're being real and personal and building connections with people. Whereas like I see other people running businesses or starting up stuff that looks great, but they'll be like the way that they're building their connections and stuff like that is just, it's stupid. They'd be like they're sitting there, and I see it all the time. They follow like 100,000 people, and then all of a sudden they unfollow all of them, and I'm like, you have that much time to sit on your phone and do that. You could be out there building a real connection with people and building a real business and showing, that you actually, you mean something rather than, it's for everyone else and it's nothing about you. And it's just, you have more humility and you're more of a humble person doing it. Yeah, I see that all the time. I've called a couple of them.
It's so, and there's some guys that there's some of the dudes that are doing it. I'm a huge fan of Ranger Up. I'm a huge fan of
those built up like naturally though.
Of Article 15.
Yeah.
Or I guess that's Black Rifle Coffee now. I guess they kind of swallowed them up, but I'm a huge fan of both of those.
Yeah,
that own businesses, and I think they kick ass.
They just kind of started off on their own.
What's that?
They started off on their own. It was their social media content that blew them up.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hilarious. Operator Fitness, are you kidding me? That's one of the best things ever.
Did you ever see that?
Awesome.
We'll talk about this later. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah. But, I really like what they're doing. I think they're awesome. My hat's off to them. But Hairless Ape isn't A for everybody. We call a lot of shit. I call people out in my blogs, not pointed people, but hey man, there's some shit and you might be doing it fucking wrong. Fix it. So it's not for everybody. It's pretty polarizing, I think, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit if it makes any money at all. I make money.
Yeah.
I'm not bad at making money.
Yeah.
I don't need this. This isn't my retirement. I don't pay my fucking mortgage with it. So I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna bend it to fit somebody else's need or because of criticism or whatever.
It's just for fun. It's like part of it's for fun, part of it's because you love it, and the other part of it's because it has meaning to it. It's definitely work, and I like to work at it. Yeah.
And I mean everything that I put out with it. I mean there's thought and there's time that goes behind it. I got an Instagram post that I learned way more shit about a fucking hammerhead shark than I ever needed to know
Yeah.
for an Instagram post. I mean, like, I researched them motherfuckers for about 4 fucking hours one day, and when I do my writing, like, a lot of times I sit on a bar stool. I sit on a bar stool, and I've got like an antique buffet that I have my laptop on and stuff like that, and it's kind of centrally located in my house and stuff, and so my dogs are running around and being idiots and trying to knock me off of it. So, but yeah, I sat there for like 4 hours just reading about hammerhead sharks, and you know, for an Instagram post. You know? So there's you know, I always try to put a lot of thought behind the shit that I put out, and it's always means something to me. And it's the coolest thing is that it seems to mean things to other people. I mean, I've had a bunch of amazing men and women contact me through Hairless Ape, just talking about, like, you know, how my writing makes them feel, and how, you know, how it touched them and shit like that. You know, dude, I don't know these guys from Adams. You know, I don't know any of them, and they're, you know, one guy's from Vegas, one guy's from Arizona, some people are from fucking Portugal.
Yeah.
You know, it's so I gotta think. And I ain't super smart or anything, but I got to think that if that's the feedback I'm getting, and I'm getting it from all these different places, that maybe the shit that I'm seeing isn't just in my own head. Maybe it is really a thing. Maybe there's more people out there like me, and maybe they're just waiting for somebody to speak up a little bit. And that seems to be what's been going on. You know, you know, and we're tiny. You know, like I said, we've got like 1,000 something followers on Instagram. That's a drop in the bucket, but I really care about those 1,008 people that are following us, because, you know, they all, you know, so many of them give feedback, and they write shit in, and, you know, they talk to me about, you know, what's going on in their fucking life.
Yeah.
You know, how maybe they read something and it kind of changed their fucking point of view or something like that. That's awesome. That's what I give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about a $20 T-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, that's connecting with people, and maybe helping them have a fucking better day. Maybe helping them get their shit together and get on the right track.
Yeah.
It don't just help them. It helps every fucking body in their life. It helps their wife. It helps their kids. You know, it's going to help them be a better guy at work. You know, if that guy's on the job, maybe maybe he gets his shit together and he's a lot more calm. Maybe he doesn't incite something whenever, if he did, it might lead to something bad. Maybe he's, you know, there's just, it's that whole butterfly effect thing, you know. It could, you don't understand just how much of effect you have on people, but if you start looking at all the different variables that could happen, you know, and these guys and gals, they're taking the time out of their day or out of their life to tell me how it made them feel. That means something, because so many people, you know, everybody's too busy to do anything anymore. You know, fuck, we can't even grocery shop anymore. We got to have an app on our phone so we can go to the back of Walmart and pick our shit up, because we can't be bothered. Life is so dramatic and so fucking busy that
I just do that to avoid people.
We can't even do that. You know, but
I just do that to avoid people.
When I got a guy that I don't know from Adam, that is clearly a man's man, writes me and tells me that he feels the shit I write in his fucking bones.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the world to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's awesome, and that's why I keep doing it, and that's what motivates me to keep after it, and I just think that there's a lot of guys out there that feel this way, and a lot of women out there that feel this way, that they just need to know that not fucking alone. They just need to know that, hey, I'm not going to get ostracized for feeling this way, for wanting to be, for not agreeing with everybody, for not going, not going the way that all the sheep are going.
Yeah. And that's something that boggles my mind. So like I kind of pick up on like people that are like struggling like with stuff, but like the ones that that aren't handling it the right way are the ones I notice the more than other ones. And I've always tried to like reach out to them, and I've had a few of them, and it's just like I'll try to talk to them. I've had a few of them, and it's just like I don't understand, like, because they don't do anything about it. They don't try to learn about themselves. They don't try to learn what makes them tick, what doesn't make them tick, and I'm just like, I feel bad because then once I realize that they're not doing anything, I can't do anything else. There's nothing I can do.
No, right? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, it's beyond.
If they don't want to do anything, then all your effort is for naught.
Yeah.
They've got to, and that's sometimes, I hope that, some of the shit that I write will spur someone to get off their ass and start doing something, or get off their ass and start trying to help other people see it. The thing is we've got these bodies that, and you've heard it before. I'm not the first guy to say this shit, but we're meant to walk 10, 20, 30, 40 miles a day for food. We're meant to hunt fucking dire wolves and saber-tooth tigers.
Yeah.
And there's scientific studies out right now. I'm actually working on a blog post that's based off of one, that our bones are getting weaker. You know why? Because we sit on our dead asses in a fucking cubicle, typing on a fucking computer all day, doing jack and shit.
Yeah, we don't do nothing.
We're not doing anything. We don't do anything. We don't make anything.
I got in a conversation with a kid that just graduated in the gym I go to. I was like, man, half the time I don't even eat breakfast. And he's like, that's not good for you. I was like, oh, okay. You're the Mr. Doctor, aren't you? I didn't say it to his face, but, I probably would have started an argument. But that's what I was thinking. And I just looked at him and I said, what human, prehistoric humans, they probably never even ate breakfast. They probably maybe ate once or twice, a day. At the most, it was probably twice. At the least, it was once a day or once every other day. I was like,
right.
And they didn't have the luxury of going out and going to a grocery store and buying food to eat it. They had to go out and hunt their food and eat it fresh. And half the time they didn't get anything. And I'm like, you're telling me that somehow they survived and we got from point A to point B through them, and you're telling me if I skip breakfast I'm gonna die? It's not good for me. Well, how did they do it? They were in much better shape than I was. I'm like,
Yeah, there's a lot of I don't really subscribe to any specific diet dogma, but man, you can do it any kind of way you want. Yeah. Really, there's a guy named Dan Duchesne that was a guru of chemical enhancement. He got down to like 5% body fat on Doritos and Twinkies. That's all he ate.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah,
I remember.
He was a big steroid guru back in the 80s and 90s, and then I'm pretty sure he had like a massive heart attack or something like that. Go figure. But I don't think it was steroid, just it was cocaine, but whatever.
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's there's a million different ways to skin a cat when you're talking about diet and stuff like that. And again, that's a first world problem.
Yeah.
We've got Sam Kinison. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not, but he was a stand-up comedian. He was a Pentecostal preacher at one time, and went into very, very blue, very, 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 very raunchy stand-up comedy. But he was talking about, he had one bit talking about, the Sally Struthers World Hunger commercials. He's like, they gear them things up to just fuck with your head, man. He's like, there's the voiceovers, like, it shows this little kid's got flies around his eyes and mouth, and like, what kind of sick son of a bitch are you? You live in an air-conditioned, fully heated home. You could eat 24/7. Get off your ass. Call, won't you, please?
It's so true, though. It's so true.
He's like, and then, of course, he gets into the whole, let me send me over there. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to go up to him. I'm going to go, look, hey, we just drove 19 hours with your fucking food, and we realized that there wouldn't be world hunger if you motherfuckers live where the food is.
Yeah, there really wouldn't. Well, yeah. Is there anything else? So, what would be like through all this stuff? What would be like the one thing that you would say is the most valuable lesson that you could share with everyone else?
Lesson from
just from starting these two businesses up, or doing these two things. Like, what would be like your personal that you're willing to share would be like the most valuable thing to you that you learned?
It's gonna sound completely Hallmark, but connecting with people, helping people, that's it. And I can make money doing all sorts of shit. I can. That's not the and honestly, if you're true about shit and you treat people decent and you do shit that you love with passion, it's gonna show.
Yeah.
And people are gonna want to support that because most people live in a very passionless existence. They don't get to see that very often. It is so rare in this day and age to hear somebody talk that you feel the fucking fire in their belly. You see the fact that the tears are right about to just run right down their cheeks because something matters to them that much. That's rare.
Yeah.
And if you can do that with whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you believe in, whatever you're trying to get done, if you can do that, everything else will happen.
Yeah.
Because legitimacy and your conviction is linked to your passion for it. And if you don't have those things, it's really hard to get somebody to support what you're doing if you don't. And if you don't have it, my question is, why are you doing it in the first place? And there's like I said, there's all sorts of ways to make money. I make money, from a straight. I call it my straight job. I do this stuff because I love it and because it means something to me. And I think it helps people.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest part is getting those messages. Or, I just went to SHOT Show this past year, and I got to meet some guys that I've been talking to for, a couple of years.
That's awesome. I've been wanting to go there.
And just walk right up to them, put a hug on them, and be like, like we have been friends. We're just finally meeting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, because it's just rare, and so just do something that you love, be passionate about it, and shit'll happen.
Yeah, it's all about that human connection, man. Some people don't even realize like how powerful that connecting beyond the phone and human in person is just so much more powerful because that's how relationships are built. And
absolutely, and that's how they've always been built.
Yeah,
we're just now, just in the last 10, 15 years with, online dating and hookup sites and, social media, they want to take, it's, we're being pushed to take the human connection out of almost every single thing in our daily life.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about the app to pick up your fucking groceries.
Yeah.
You know, I had a grocery store that closed down in the town that I work in, and I used to love going there on my Friday after work because I can go talk to the guys in the meat department.
Yeah.
I go in there, I get steaks for the weekend, shoot the shit with them a little bit.
I do that too.
It take me an hour to get steaks and shit for salad. And
I still ask girls out in person. I'll talk to them a few times, and then in person after I've kind of gotten a hint or notion for what they're like. I'll just go up to them and be like, "Hey, let me take you out to dinner one day." If they say no,
like you're a fucking alien.
Yeah. Some of them do. It freaks them out. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you're actually asking me." And then at some of them, it's like, "Yeah, why not?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so
you want to hide behind a screen while you're doing this?
Yeah. You want to try to pretend you're someone else, like. But yeah. So my last question, is more of a fun one. So if you had to choose between, since we got this coronavirus, have you been drinking Coronas? I gotta ask that. I'm thinking about drinking Coronas.
The last thing I drank was Shiner Bock. Actually, I'm a huge Shiner Bock.
Oh, I love Shiner. The Shiner plant's not too far away from me.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I might have to make a road trip then. We might have to do part 2 like in person.
It's a great place.
Before I get drinking.
Yeah. So I drive. I live in College Station. So I drive through La Grange, the place that ZZ Top sings about. Whenever I'm driving out of town, I always drive by these places, just because I'm like, and I'll listen to them. I'm like, man, this is awesome. I was like, I get to drive through these places that people sing about, and people across the country have never even been here. But so since the coronavirus is going on, would you rather have some giant Godzilla creature, attack us, or would you rather have a zombie apocalypse or an alien invasion? And you gotta tell me the reason why.
Oh, zombie apocalypse, of course.
Oh yeah, zombie apocalypse. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a child of the 80s. One of the scariest movies I ever saw was the original Dawn of the Dead on VHS.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. That shit was that would creep you out when you're fucking 12.
I watched that for the first time.
Horrible special effects, but yeah.
I watched it for the first time when I was living up in Oregon. I was on a wildland fire crew when I was 18 years old. And it was in the wintertime when I was staying on the forestry station. No one else was there but the security guard. In the middle of the night, it's blizzard out, right? It's snowing, it's the end of the world outside. And we don't.
Right.
I don't remember if we had cable or not. I don't think we did because we were in the middle of the mountains. So I just popped in. I was just watching VHS tapes. And I popped into this VHS tape while it was blizzard, outside, and it was Dawn of the Apes. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "This is scary," or whatever. I was watching all these scary movies, man. I've been scared out. I was scared out of my mind. I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, that's got a. And when they did the remake, man, that even had an even bleaker ending. You know, that's they're you thinking that they're gonna make it to the island, then shit's all fucked up there too. But yeah, definitely zombie apocalypse. Because then, I think everybody kind of, or I think that's why zombie movies are so, why they have such a mass appeal anymore, because it's it's like anarchy, and I think the heart of every good American is a bit of an anarchist. At least
probably.
Anyway. The real one.
I was very disappointed.
Take care of every single aspect of their fucking life.
Yeah, I was very disappointed when the coronavirus was not turning people into zombies. I was very disappointed. I'm waiting for people to start turning. I'm waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, I think the only thing the only thing they want us to do is jack with our economy, and I don't even think it's going to do that. So yeah, who knows? It could go either way. I got two theories. One, it's a way for China to get rid of some people, because they're not making any more land over there. They're making a bunch of people, not any more land. So maybe clear out some space, or it's not that big a deal, and they're hoping that it'll jack our economy up. So whenever the election comes, they can say what a horrible President Trump's been for the last 6 months, and
it's definitely
communist will get elected.
It's definitely one thing I think. I definitely think that this virus was man-made. I have a hunch that someone in a laboratory made it and released it on purpose.
Yeah, and and this we'll never know what the real ends are, but I'm like I said, I'm not the smartest guy.
Yeah.
But dude, there's but I also know that there's not that many coincidences in the entire world.
Yes.
Everything is, the media, as much as they try and cover shit up, because I think they do. It's all the media is owned by like two major groups. They're trying to steer us one way or the other.
Yeah.
They're just so bad at it.
Yeah.
And they think everybody is so goddamn stupid that, I can put two and two together, man. There's some shit that's just like, wow, you really think I'm dumb as hell, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Some people believe it. There's some people in this world that actually think Judge Judy is a United States Supreme Court justice. Like I have read it. I have read it online. I have read that people actually believe that, and I'm in shock.
Well, you got guys walking around in black hooded sweatshirts, putting masks over their face, calling other people fucking Nazis.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. They don't realize that they are a incarnate version of Hitler's brown shirts. They're just wearing a different fucking color uniform.
Yeah.
They don't get that.
Yep.
They have no fucking clue. Some of them motherfuckers don't even know who the fuck Hitler is, but they're calling other people that name.
Yeah.
That's just what they're indoctrinated to do. That's the sad fucking part is that parents have taken such a fucking hands-off approach with some of their kids and have spared the rod so much that their fucking their children are fucking wrecks. And
I remember
some of them, I don't even know if they're salvageable.
Under when Obama was president, I remember a lot of the dictionaries came together and they changed the definition of the word fascism. So I don't know what it means now. I haven't looked it up in a while. I don't know if they changed it back, but I know some of them still to this day probably. And I know back then they changed the definition of fascism to meaning any right-winged political belief.
Right.
And I was just like, wow. And then people are going to believe that. That's not what not what it meant originally. That has nothing to do with what it meant. Right wing? Are you serious? Like,
here's another conspiracy theory. Why don't they teach kids how to write in cursive anymore? So they can't read the fucking the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution.
That's true.
I believe that firmly.
I can believe that.
and I'm probably losing people as I speak, but fuck it. One of the coolest things I got to do, I was actually in San Antonio. An ex-girlfriend of mine was going through MOS change, and she was at Fort Sam. Yeah. And
that's where I got treated at.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the huge one.
Yeah.
But I went down to visit, and we went to the Alamo, and I stood in the Alamo and read the Texas Declaration of Independence. Yeah. And dude, if that doesn't give you goosebumps. And I bought in the gift shop, I bought 6 copies of it, one for myself, and then 5 for some buddies of mine. But what's wrong with that? What's wrong with wanting your country to be strong? What's wrong with being able to have amicable discourse? What's wrong with you do your thing, I'm going to do mine, and just let everybody kind of be. We've been polarized, and these idiot kids have been taught that if somebody doesn't agree with them, that they're not only do they not agree, but they're wrong and they're the enemy.
Yeah.
And that is not anything like what the framers of the Constitution wanted, what polite society wants or thinks or is meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, every single thing that's going on right now is meant to divide this nation even further. And we got to, it's up to us to say enough's enough. It's up to us. And that's one of the great things about, Hairless Ape is, man, I got men and women from all over the globe that feel similarly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And all races, all creeds, all religions, all kinds of backgrounds, there's a reason for that, because I think that there's archetypes.
Yeah.
I think the hero archetype is everywhere, and I think that it's still in people.
Yeah.
And if we can get them to believe it and believe in themselves and start fucking acting on it, the fucking world's gonna be a better place. And that sounds grandiose and it sounds crazy. And listen to this fucking dude from Southern Illinois talking about the world and shit, but it's the truth. You're not gonna convince me of anything different.
Yeah.
People can fucking change shit.
Yeah. A lot of the change just starts at the personal level, and then it builds up from there.
Absolutely.
Well,
taking care of your own shit, and then building personal relationships and personal connections with other people that aren't necessarily, I don't want you to think like me. I just want you to think. And if you're thinking and I'm thinking, we can figure shit out. Whether we agree on everything or not, we don't have to agree on everything. But if we've got a baseline,
but we don't need to
think similarly, we can get shit done.
We don't need to be divided. We don't need to be like threaten each other like some of our politicians we're just recently seeing doing. I think like there's no need for that crap.
All the Republicans. Oh, that's not.
Yeah.
That's probably something you want to make a call to action about, you dumb fucks. But
yeah.
Until we start hanging people for treason, they're not going to shut their fucking mouths. So.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's so true. Well, anyway, so this is Sam. So he runs Saint Kicks from Southern Illinois of Southern Illinois, and then he also has the Hairless Ape Conspiracy Instagram page where you can go check out. And that pretty much concludes this episode. I appreciate you coming on board and talking. I appreciate you telling us your story. That was sorry it took me so long. Had my own.
Oh, no problem, man.
Negative crap going on.
I appreciate you having me on. As veterans, number one, we got to support each other.
Yeah.
Number two, we also got to realize and call out bullshit when we see it.
Exactly.
Because I know some shitty ass vets out there too.
Yeah.
Don't just support them because they're a vet. Make sure you know who you're supporting.
Yeah.
And make sure you know that they're a stand-up guy or a stand-up woman, and support the good ones. We will, the bad ones will sort themselves out.
Yeah, exactly.
And do shit. Get off your ass and do shit. We're meant to do stuff.
Yeah.
We are better when we're doing stuff. When we get complicit, when we get complacent, when we sit on our ass, when we start thinking about ourselves more than a mission or the mission or helping other people, that's when we have the hardest times. I know I do.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm unique in that. Just fucking get going, get after it, get shit done, and make your place better, make your community better, make your life better, help other people.
So if any of our listeners want to know, the little creaking sound that has been on my podcast for a few episodes is my wheelchair. It's not my back. It's not my arthritis. It's not that bad, I promise. It might sound like it is, but it's not. Anyways,